I'm Veilmisk, and I was kind of hyped when the Star Wars Visions trailer dropped in August. If you don't know what Star Wars Visions is, it's an anthology of 9 standalone stories created by 7 anime studios that exist in the Star Wars setting, but have extensive creative freedoms in how they are presented because the shorts are not part of the official Star Wars story. I'm using the word shorts very liberally here because every episode is roughly 15 to 20 minutes long. Not exactly short. But now that it's here, overall, it's just okay. Up front, every episode is highly visually polished, each with their own style and tone, but the execution of their plots is what sets each short apart. I didn't check which studio made each episode before I watched the entire series to avoid forming any preconceptions. I'm also going to try to avoid spoilers as I go over each episode, but I'll put something on screen in case I do. Episode rankings and final thoughts are at the end. Straight up, The Duel, the very first episode of Visions, might be the strongest in the series, and if it isn't, it's a hell of a hook. Created by Kamikaze Doga, the creators of several of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures opening sequences, it's a stunning, mostly black and white 3D animated short that manages to maintain the heavy samurai film influence while managing to skillfully integrate Star Wars elements to stop the short from existing as feudal Japan, but with lightsabers. Tatooine Rhapsody, for the first few seconds, had me intrigued. Opening with a Padawan on the run near the end of the Clone Wars, but in a visual style I would associate with being more aimed at a younger audience, seemed like a bold move for such a dark topic. And then it lost me. Up there with animal shelters and soup kitchens, a story centered around a band is one of the last topics I thought I'd see in Star Wars. Spoiler. While cute, the cliche of a no-name group making it big by some insane luck just shouldn't work here. Oh boy. I know this one was going to be a little wacky from the trailer, but if you've seen Kill la Kill or Gurren Lagann, you could go into Visions blind and ask yourself, did Studio Trigger make this? Yes they did. The twins is very out there, and most forms of continuity were sacrificed for action and spectacle. However, the expectation of the twins being the least grounded episode is set right off the bat with a whack-ass Star Destroyer. It's bright, flashy, and action-packed. The Village Bride is the exact polar opposite of the twins, and much of what I wanted from Tatooine Rhapsody. A gloomy, relatively simplistic looking episode set in a post-Order 66 universe, following a former Padawan lying low on a remote planet, unsure of her place in the galaxy now that the Jedi are effectively extinct. When the credits rolled, I said to the friend I was watching Visions with, if this became its own show, I would watch it every week when the new episode releases. It's not action-packed, but not without substance, which would be a nice change of pace from the combat-heavier shows like The Mandalorian. The Ninth Jedi was really good. Like, really good. And now I know why. I hadn't heard of Production IG before writing the script for this video, because I'm stupid. But they've produced Ghost in the Shell, Guilty Crown, Psycho-Pass, Fooly Cooly, and The End of Evangelion, among others of dozens of series, films, OVAs, and other ONAs like The Ninth Jedi. With probably the most sophisticated story of Visions, with a man named Margrave allegedly attempting to rebuild the Jedi Order after the rise of Skywalker, I was sold not only by the masterful fight sequences, but also by the story with what I call the expectations double cross, which I'll explain with spoilers at the end of the video. There were also some really cool ideas regarding the Force and lightsabers integrated here that I actually wished were properly part of Star Wars. I would also watch this if it became its own show. I don't trash on the episodes I don't like. Hours and hours of amazing work have gone into these animations by very talented people. But I don't like TOB1. TOB1 is a humanoid droid that dreams of becoming a Jedi and traveling the galaxy, and a Jedi through a series of deus ex machinas. The episode has a very familiar aesthetic, pulling heavily from Astro Boy, and it's nice to look at. But it doesn't overshadow the fact that, in my opinion, it should only be a turn-off-your-brain fun watch and not a let's analyze this seriously watch, which is something I have a hard time doing if I have expectations going in. My friend and I often found ourselves confused about what was happening during the episode, which is concerning since it's only 13 minutes long. The story feels eclectic, like there are too many things to get done before the climax. In a total 180, Studio Trigger followed up the twins with a much quieter, more subdued work in The Elder. Strangely, The Elder is the only episode in Visions that I found myself to enjoy more having thought about it a few days after my initial viewing. Set before Phantom Menace, a Jedi Master and his Padawan are drawn to a backwoods planet through an unusual disturbance in the Force. Setting the tone with drab backdrops and clothing allowed the Jedi, their foe, and their lightsabers to pop out more than they would have in an otherwise peaceful and carefree era for the Jedi. I was really worried about Ocho and Lop. Lop being the first voiced anthropomorphic character in Star Wars had me fearing that the episode would be full of fury fuel and would lack substance. I surprisingly sat away from Ocho and Lop presently surprised. Starting with a very sweet origin story, the two sisters began fighting, and not for the very black and white reasons in the twins, but about the future of their planet and the Imperial occupation. The rivalry between Ocho and Lop continued to grow throughout the episode, starting as an attempt to keep their family together and ending with angry determination. This is also something I'd watch if it became its own standalone series, but only if it stayed animated. I've rewritten this section at least 5 times, so I'll keep it short. I wanted to like Akakiri, but I just couldn't. It's based on the Japanese film The Hidden Fortress, which also influenced Star Wars coincidentally. I only found that out after looking it up. A princess and a Jedi are trying to overthrow her aunt, who forcibly took control of the princess's kingdom. Tonally, it's the darkest of the 9 episodes, which ranged from energetic to more melancholic and introspective. I didn't have a problem with this at all. But I couldn't give a damn about the story or the characters. They felt bland, and I was bored. The Satine Obi-Wan thing going on between the princess and Jedi didn't help in any capacity, and immediately gave away most of the ending for me once it was revealed. It's almost poetic that Vision's biggest weakness is its premise. I know these shorts were made in Japan by Japanese people, but with Star Wars' fanbase being largely from the West, the influences the studios had were likely largely lost on the viewers, including myself. I was lucky that a friend of mine knew of a few to cue me in, which made those parts more powerful in hindsight, rather than making an inference while watching. but otherwise, I feel like my experience was hindered somewhat, and I think others could agree. For the most part, I did enjoy my viewing of Star Wars Visions. It was really cool seeing some outsider takes on the franchise. It had some low points, but also some very high points too, which cemented my it's okay opinion, as I feel the highs and lows counteract each other. If you haven't seen Visions yet, don't let my opinion stop you. It's definitely worth seeing firsthand, if not for the experience, then because it's more Star Wars. Thanks for watching. I wanted this video to be out ages ago because I've been working on it for 3 weeks, but I procrastinated a fair bit and listened to too much K-pop. I've been working on my audio settings, and while they've improved, there are definitely differences in my voiceovers, as you might be able to tell. If you liked this video, maybe leave a like, a comment, or even sub if you're vibing. Next video should be a Pokemon Celebrations box opening, so see you then. Okay, the double cross. Spoilers. Off the bat, Margrave seems pretty sus. Bringing 7 Force sensitives together, but there weren't any creepy shots, made me uneasy. But when the lightsabers came into play, I started leaning that Margrave was good. But the Jedi Hunters broke into the Saber Master's house, and making me think the Margrave was reneging. Then the lightsabers get delivered, and it turns out 6 of the 7 Force sensitives are dabbling with the dark side, and were themselves hunting Jedi, and Margrave has nothing to do with it, thus forming the double cross.